Are you tired of self-doubt holding you back? Have you ever wished you could have the confidence to face your fears, go after your wildest dreams, and the tools necessary to live your best life? Hey there, amazing listeners. I'm your host and author of How to Grasp Confidence and Own Your Power. And I've made it my mission to help you break free from self-doubt and embrace confidence. Subscribe now and join us as we unlock the secrets to unshakable self-assurance. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grasp Confidence Podcast, the podcast that empowers our listeners to take action, live their best lives, and go after their biggest dreams. So today, I have a very special guest that I'm extremely excited to talk to and have one, Liz Elting. Liz is the founder and CEO of the Elizabeth Elting Foundation, which is dedicated to promoting women's equality, health, and education globally. Previously, she co-founded TransPerfect, the world's largest language solutions company, where she helped build a thriving global enterprise. A passionate advocate for gender equality and empowerment, Liz uses her platform to drive impactful philanthropic initiatives. She has received numerous accolades, including recognition in Forbes as the richest self-made woman. Liz is also a speaker, mentor, and thought leader in the entrepreneurship and women's leadership space. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Tara. I am so excited to be here with you today.
And these amazing accolades. I mean, wow. When I think of goals, hashtag goals, right? I think of you. So congratulations, because this barely scratches the surface.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you and congratulations to you for all that you've accomplished and what you do to help support and empower women. We all need it, and we're so lucky to have people like you doing the wonderful work that you do. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And, before we started today, we chatted a little bit offline. We were talking about your book. And, I was reading on Amazon all of the wonderful reviews from your book. And one particularly stood out to me. And it said, there's a lot of success books out there. This one's different. This one's different. This one's special. Because it doesn't teach you theoretical concepts, which is something I'm very passionate about. It teaches you actionable, tangible things that you can do right now in your business. I love that review.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate that review, and I appreciate your noticing it and acknowledging it. Yes, I think, there's a lot of talk out there about what, kind of fluffy. You should do this, you should be this, you should be that, you should act this way, you should act that way. But I'm a big believer in, okay, but what do I do? Let's get to the point. What do I do? And I also encounter people all the time. They have big ideas, big dreams, but they're not willing to put in the work to do it. So I thought, okay, number one, I'm going to tell them what I did and what I think they should do. And then I'm going to say, it's about action. Action eclipses dreaming. And each chapter is a verb, what to do to get to the next level. And so, yes, it's all about action in the end. I mean, I think you need to dream big, but then put forth your goals backed up by actions to get there, and then you will win.
Well, action is a subject I'm very passionate about. And, as you can probably tell, GRASP, it stands for gratitude, responsibility, action, sight, purpose. You have to have action. If you don't have the action, aren't we castle builders? Aren't we dreamers?
Yes, that's right. That's right. because so many people talk a good game, and it's nice, it's lovely, it's fun to talk about. But in the end, it's about hard work. It's about figuring out what you need to do. And books like this help you, and podcasts like yours help you. And then, putting into action, what you need to do every day over a sustained period of time. And it pays off. It's like working out. It pays off.
Yes. Even it doesn't have to be huge amounts of action either. I'm pretty passionate about the compound effect, a small, but significant, because any change is significant. A small incremental change, when added up on a daily basis over the course of a year or a lifetime, becomes an unrecognizable person or business, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's about discipline, right? It's, as you say, it's not about doing everything at once and burning out. It's like each day, steps. In our case, in the way we built our company, it was day in and day out. I mean, realizing, okay, we need to bring in revenue to get this company going. And in order to bring in revenue, we need to make, and in my case, it was 300 phone calls a day to figure out who, I know that's a lot, to figure out who in a company would have a need for our service. And then once we did, send out 300 letters. And that, of course, sounds like a lot. And in some cases, maybe it's less, maybe it's 100. But then making sure you actually do those things, send out to your 100 people, and then do it the next day and the next day. And, business is generally 5 days a week. You can take your much needed break on weekends to the degree you feel, you need to, and everybody needs to. We all need that so we don't burn out, but just doing it day in and day out. And I've heard quotes from people, and I'm such a big believer myself in the difference between people who are average or successful versus and enormously successful is simply discipline, staying with it day in and day out over a period of years, and it really pays off.
It's the consistency aspect of this all.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm going to sound like this.
Warren Buffett has a lovely quote about that too, and he obviously is brilliant, and clearly he made it. So anyway, sorry, go ahead, Tara.
No, absolutely. It's I'm going to soundbite this because it's the consistency aspect of it. We all say we want success. We all say, I want to build $1 million, $1 billion in your case. Hello, enterprise. That's me with $1 billion, everybody. But are we putting in the action steps to make that happen? We can see that the action steps are attainable for us all. You don't have to necessarily have a higher IQ, go to Stanford, go to Yale to make 300 phone calls and do this 300 times.
Right.
But you have to be consistent, right, Liz?
150%. And I know of people, I've heard of people, they say, I want to create this world-changing app. I want to create a unicorn. But sometimes they think having those credentials are enough. Absolutely not. As you said, it's not about whether you went to Harvard or Yale or Stanford. It's about, are you willing to put in the work every day? And then are you willing to get out there and sell and network and connect with people and take the risks, etc. So that's what it's all about.
Yes. I had a mentor one time who asked me a very simple question. When is the last time you presented your offer? And I had to think about it. And he said, any amount of hesitation is unacceptable. If you don't know the last time you presented your offer, you're not in business. And you know what? I changed. He's right. I completely changed from that point on. And I said, I'm going to sell every day that ends with Y. And not only am I going to do that, right?
Yes.
I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to sell once, and then I'm going to go 3 times, and then 4 times, and 10 times, and so on, and make it a habit to sell.
Absolutely. Always be selling. It's the concept of always be closing, but always be out, until you get to a point where you're ready to close, always be selling. And the CEO, the entrepreneur, is the most important salesperson to get your company off the ground. Another thing I say is funding is vanity and profitable revenue is sanity. And how else are you going to get to profitable revenue except be out there selling, bringing in those clients yourself. And that's just super important. And I also know, sometimes entrepreneurs love the idea of building the business. And actually some of them build amazing infrastructures, and they have nice, nice marketing material and all these pretty things, beautiful furniture, and maybe even they got the funding, but the revenue, that's what they need to focus on every day. The number one reason companies go out of business is they run out of cash. So you need the cash, ideally from revenue. Funding takes so much time to get. It's at least as hard to get as revenue. And then if you don't have that revenue and profit, you're going to make a lot of investors unhappy and go out of business anyway. So yes, always be selling.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. Because I honestly think that's a huge block for a lot of entrepreneurs in general, but especially female entrepreneurs, Liz. I can't tell you how many talented, successful, brilliant women that I have personally worked with who are terrified to sell, have money blocks, don't believe that they can charge more. And it breaks my heart. And I don't understand, right?
Yes.
So what do you think? I would just love to pick your brain about that.
No, absolutely. First of all, yes, always be selling. And you're right. I know entrepreneurs who have wonderful businesses, which, as I said, really nice infrastructures. They have a great product. They have a great service, but they don't want to sell. So they've got to go out there and sell and take the risk and smile and dial. And, they may get, 1% of, the 100 calls in a period, in a couple hours with people actually speaking to them. But that 1% can turn into a project. The project turns into multiple projects, and the multiple projects turns into a relationship. And as far as selling, absolutely. As far as charging, absolutely. You don't want to undervalue yourself. If you undercharge, then that can cheapen what you are. You get what you pay for, so to speak. And meaning if you come in too low, that could make it seem like you don't have the talent and the value you have, and you know what you have to offer. So ask for it. The worst the person's going to say is no. And generally they will negotiate you down, but you'll be starting from a higher place, and you're more likely to get, number one, what you're worth, and number two, closer to what you actually asked for. So absolutely don't be shy about asking for what you're really worth. And show your value.
Yes. I tell this to speakers all the time because it's very prevalent in the speaking industry. Again, and we have a shortage of speakers in general, but especially a shortage of female speakers. And they come in priced so low that it undervalues them immediately. It takes away their brand positioning and authority, and it makes them seem amateur compared to anyone else that's, and again, we might not even be stacked up against each other as far as an educational perspective, but they don't understand their own value.
I couldn't agree more. Yes. So you should ask for what you deserve. Absolutely.
Yes. It's so crucial.
So crucial.
Well, you've done these amazing, phenomenal things, and it is so refreshing to interview somebody that knows their worth, stands by their value, and helps other people do the same. One thing I'm very passionate about is, as we rise in the ladder of success, we reach our hand back and help the person, right, that's behind us. How can we help elevate other people? And I know that's something that you're passionate about as well, but I would love to know why you're so passionate about it.
Oh, yes. No, I am passionate about it because, yes, we work on our career for many years. And what we realize is we're going through it. Number one, wow, there are issues that I'm having. And we learn, but we sometimes learn the hard way, because certainly back when I started my company in the 90s, there were very few mentors out there. There were virtually no women's organizations. Oh my goodness, we've come such a long way, and that's wonderful. And so, I learned through a lot of the mistakes I made, but fortunately I was able to learn. And, initially it was the excitement of growing the company and building it. And then over time it became, wow, I'm bringing people in after me at my company, and they're starting right out of college, entry level, and then they're becoming managers of 50 people, of 100 people, of 300 people. And boy, was that rewarding. And then, of course, after selling my company now, I think, wow, that I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm in a position where I learned a lot and I was able to accomplish a good amount. And now I have the time and resources to give back. And it is the most rewarding thing when you see that you give someone an idea that either gets them a job or gets them to start their company or somehow helps get them to $1 million in revenue, which is by far the hardest. And you see that you may have changed their life for the better. Boy, is that rewarding. And the same with education, as far as, funding education for women and just mentoring them along the way. So it's just so incredibly rewarding. And, I feel like because I was one of the lucky ones, of course, I should be giving back. To whom much is given, much is expected. And it's what I'm responsible for, and I'm loving every minute of it.
You embody the GRASP method, especially that radical responsibility aspect of it too. I just absolutely love that. But you're also very much in line with your purpose. And it seems like you have definite sense of gratitude for this entire journey, Liz.
Yes, I am, because, I was born to wonderful parents who were great mentors, and they encouraged hard work. They kind of required hard work. I mean, they said, okay, you're 10, you can get a job. Okay, you're 16, no more allowance, no more resources. Make sure you get a real job now that you're allowed to. And so they encouraged and required hard work, and then they paid for an education for me, undergrad and graduate school. And so many people are not born into that situation. They're not born into the right families as far as resources and the right, zip codes. And so I was lucky to have that. And then I put in the time, but now I can give back and I want to help people. I'm a big believer both education and entrepreneurship are two great equalizers. So I want to help people first get an education and then become entrepreneurs. I think that's wonderful. And the last thing on it is, during my years in business, I realized it can be very difficult for women for all kinds of ways. And we all know them, and different women have different experiences, and we know what's going on in the world today. But in my case, as a woman, when I was in college and even in business school and grad school, I thought, it's not about whether you're a man or a woman. It's about results. And so I say this in my book. I didn't even join Stern Women in Business. I went to NYU Business School and Stern, and they had a women's group. I didn't even join it because I thought, why would I need that? It's about results. But then once I was in business, I realized, wow, it can be hard for women. I experienced sexism, and then I saw the wonderful women at my company did, and there were issues and we needed to address them. And then same with diverse populations and the intersection of women and diverse populations. And that's why I focus on that group now. And it is so necessary and so rewarding.
So much passion that I hear when you talk about this, and it's so beautiful and refreshing. And I want to touch on something because, again, going back to money blocks that a lot of women especially have, and entrepreneurs in general, I think people in general, right? We look at money as something that's negative. But as you're saying, as you're describing, the more wealth you were able to accumulate, the more you were able to give back and actually propagate your purpose, which is to help other women and entrepreneurs succeed in business.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, starting with when I was young, my parents said, we don't want you to be financially dependent on anyone except yourself. And thank goodness they said that, and as I said, when I turned 16, they actually stopped paying for my clothes and my entertainment because they knew I could work. And that would be a great way to get me to start being self-sufficient and independent. So I did that. And then I was always very motivated to make money, not to have more for myself, but more to be financially independent. So I never had to be dependent on a man on a parent, on anyone. And then I got to a point where I was there, and that's when I realized it's my obligation to give back. And one of the things I like to say is work today like no one else will, so you can live and give tomorrow like no one else can. And, that's the idea. You work hard, and sometimes along the way, people might think, boy, you're making all this money and what's this all about? But then you get to a point where you can just focus on giving it back and sharing your knowledge, your, whatever talent you have, and your time. And that's so rewarding. But it really is a means to an end. And, you try to do that along the way as well, but it's harder to fit it in when you're building a company.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. So much wisdom there, really. And I would love to hear how confidence shaped your journey as well in entrepreneurship, because, entrepreneurship is not easy. I think a lot of, right? I know it sounds funny, but a lot of people are talented as all get out, super, super talented. And they think that just because they're super talented, they're very good at whatever it is they do, that they can start a business and guess what? It's going to fly off and be successful. But confidence has to play a huge role in that, because in order for something to grow, you first have to believe it to be true, that it will.
Yes, you do have to believe in yourself, and you need to believe that you're worthy of it, that you deserve it. And I think the way confidence is built is through when things, happen to you and you get through them and you're okay on the other side. I have this example. I have a few examples I talk about in my book, but one is this little story of when I was in grade 6 in Toronto, where I was living at the time, and we had this music class. It was actually 2 classes. There were 60 people in it, and we practiced, and then we were singing a song from Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. We were all singing, and there I was in the front row amidst the other 60 people, just having the time of my life because I loved singing. And this music teacher kind of started going in front of each of the singers one by one. And then she stopped and got to me, and she said, this is it. I was like, yes, I'm going to get a solo. She loves me. She said, this is the problem. I was the one that was messing up the whole song with the 60 of us, the whole sound of the whole thing. She said, you're off key. This is not your thing. You're really going to have to leave the chorus, and for the rest of the school year, you'll be down in the classroom, and we'll do this without you. And I was I was humiliated. I was traumatized, and I was embarrassed beyond, but I got through it. And, I just thought that in a way built confidence, because I thought, okay, if I can do that and then just hold my head high among everybody, that was a confidence builder. And then I had all kinds of issues in high school. And I talk about that, where, there was a time I thought, oh my God, I'm beyond shy. I have no friends after a bad accident I had. So the reason I talk about these things is I was very underconfident and very shy, but that adversity that I experienced, made me stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And then you go in and you think, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, I make 300 phone calls and no one wants to give me business. Okay, on to the next. And then you have one person who talks to you, and then you make it into something, and you turn it into a relationship. And you're like, yes, I can do it. And the confidence comes. And of course, you have to just believe you're worthy. But confidence is built over time, and we all need to have it, because believe me, if I was able to do what I did, you can too. If I can do it, you can do. Anyone. I really, truly feel that way. And that's, as I said, why I wrote my book, and that's why I share my knowledge, because you need to believe in yourself and feel like you can do it and you deserve it.
Yes, you cannot be what you cannot see, and you cannot have what you refuse to act on, folks. It's really that simple. You have to pair that visualization with the activity that goes alongside of it. You might like this, Liz. So I typed into ChatGPT today all of my goals, right? All of these big goals.
Wow.
And then I said, provide a detailed action plan that's a daily schedule that will make these goals accomplishable and exactly what I need to do in my life and business to have everything that I want. And it gave me a detailed schedule. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take action on it.
Yay!
Because information is great. It's all about application meets information. You have to put in that activity. And any of these goals are absolutely possible for us if we get organized, get committed, put in the action, and stay consistent. Don't you think?
Oh my God, completely. And it's as simple as, okay, I need to work out. I need to get in shape. And I said that many years ago, and that's why I said, okay, no matter what, I need to make sure I walk 5 miles a day. And then of course that relates to business too. Okay, I need to get to $1 million in revenue this year. Okay, so that's 125,000 a month, or no, that's less than that. That's 880 some thousand a month. Breaking it down, and then okay, how do I get to 80 some thousand a month? Okay, how much revenue per day? How many phone calls per day? And break it down and then live up to it. Absolutely. And you need to do this in year 1 and year 5 and year 10 and over and over and over. The goals and then the actions to back them up. And by the way, I used to do this at my business the night before I left. And this was back when we were always in the office, no working from home then, no remote working then. Come up with a plan for the next day.
Yes.
All broken down ahead of time. So when you come in, you hit the ground running on all the things you're going to do to live up to, to carry out your goal, the actions you're going to do. Absolutely.
I'll add one more thing in here. What do you think about this? You also have to surround yourself with people who have already accomplished some of these goals that you have, or are on their way to accomplish these goals. What do you think about your environment dictating future outcomes? What do you think?
Oh, completely. And you hear that all the time, right? And that's a wonderful thing to say, though, that the 5 people you spend the most time with affect you the most. And you want to be around motivated people that give you ideas. And you don't need one mentor. I can't say I ever had one, but it's more having a number of people in your life. And some of them are people who are literally in your life. They're your friends, they're your relatives, they're people you've met through business. And some are people that you're using as a mentor from afar. But as far as the ones in person, absolutely. You want them to be motivated people who are out there doing that get you to do the things you want. For example, if you say, okay, I want to read more, you come up with a number of books you want to read for the year and break it down per month. And then you have people in your life that are big readers who are giving you ideas for books. But the point is, yes, absolutely. If you're around other motivated people who have similar goals, it is so invigorating, inspiring, and I couldn't agree more. It's wonderful.
Yes. Just several years ago when I started my entrepreneurship journey, I used to really look at authors and say, how did you do that? How did you write a book? Well, guess what? You start hanging around authors enough, it starts becoming possible.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden you're an author now. And that's exactly how it was for me. I went from looking at it as an intangible thing. How does anybody do this? To now I've published 2.
Oh,
very simple.
Congratulations. That's right. And it's not so simple. So the fact that you published 2 books, kudos to you, because one thing I learned from writing a book is, boy, it's hard. And, part of it is the actual writing and what goes into it. And then, of course, the marketing, the selling. Oh, boy. But the fact that you did that, that's wonderful. And then you learn that not only did you go through it, you learn from those around you, but also authors help out authors the same way business people help out business people. And so you really need to have that network of like-minded people, and it will pay off for you big time.
Tremendously. This is the power of something like LinkedIn. This is the power of building your network with really aligned people that are going to help support you in your journey. Because I really do believe that, a lot of times we look at people that have accomplished really big goals and say, again, they're intangible, they're a different class, they're separate from us. What if they weren't? And it's about bridging the gap and finding and connecting with these people and learning together and exchanging value, right?
Absolutely. And we're in the fortunate situation now with LinkedIn and social media in general that we can find these people and we can reach out to them and connect with them. And people are so good about sharing information and sharing what they went through. So you're right. It's very much about seeing it and learning from it and reaching out to the people and learning more. And it's really a wonderful thing. That's how you do it.
I love that. Well, Liz, everybody is going to obviously buy Liz's book, by the way, just buy it. It's amazing. But everybody is going to want to know how to reach out to you, how to learn more about what you do and who you serve. What are the best places for people to look?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, as far as where I am on all the social media platforms, or the main ones, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and Threads. And so it would be wonderful, at Liz Elting. And yes, and my book's on Amazon. But yes, that would be wonderful. I would love to connect with all of you.
Oh, that's great. Well, buy Liz's book. And I say that because I want every single person watching this show to not just listen to the concepts of the show. I want you to actually take these concepts and apply them in your lives and learn from somebody like Liz, who has accomplished phenomenal things. Again, I say billion with a B, dollar company. This is the exact mentor we all need in our lives so that we can continue to elevate ourselves to even higher planes of success and confidence and all of the beautiful things that goes with that. So thank you so much for everyone who tuned in today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your networks to keep the inspiration going, my friends. So thank you so much for everyone today. And thank you, Liz, for being a fantastic guest.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you all for being here today, too. So excited to be with you. And if I can do it, you can too. We all can do it. And that's why we're here to help each other. Yay. Thank you so much, Tara, and all of you.
Love that. Thank you so much for everybody. We will catch you on the next episode. And that's a wrap for this episode of Grasp Confidence. Thank you for joining me today and investing in yourself. Remember, building confidence is an ongoing journey, and each step you take brings you closer to the empowered, fearless version of yourself that you were born to be. Don't forget to visit my website, follow me on social media, and purchase my book, which is available on Amazon. Thank you for listening. We will see you on the next episode. Stay confident.